Hello,
hey, everybody.
Explorers. We have an exciting day today. And because of that,
it's a magical Disney-fied day.
Yes, we're wearing
with shirts that we haven't worn in, I don't know how many years.
They're from Disneyland's 60th anniversary, which are celebrating.
Yes.
That's 10 years because they're celebrating their 70th now.
Yep,
crazy.
Up, yeah.
But on tonight's show, we have our friends Stacy and Charlie from
Dizney Nerd Herders.
They're going to talk about their recent trip to Disneyland Paris because we are excited. It brought back so many memories from when we went about, 8 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about it now. It's coming up next on
D&G Explorers. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our magical Disney-fied show with the wonderful, the beautiful, the magical Dizney Nerd Herders.
Thank you. Oh, that was great.
You're welcome.
I just imagine him wearing one of those black suits like on the circus, and he's got the top hat, and he's
That's right, yeah.
The conductor or whatever of the circus.
So you guys might be new for some of our Explorer fans. We're gonna make the screen bigger for you guys, but introduce yourself and talk a little bit about who you are and what your channel is.
Well, we are the Dizney Nerd Herders. We started YouTubing around 2018, and we do Disney and Universal. We started off in Massachusetts. We moved down here to Florida 3 years ago. And we've been trying to do everything Florida. Yeah. We have a son named Avery who's thriving with autism. We have a daughter, Sophia, who's a senior in college now, and she's a technical theater major. So she's been, she just recently got a job in SeaWorld, so she's loving that because she's working on parades and shows and other things that she's probably going to get mad at me mentioning, so I'm not gonna mention anything more. She says you're not supposed to say anything. I was like, okay. So but yeah, we go around doing parks, do concerts, do Comic Cons and beaches and stuff, and everything that we want to do.
We've been trying to branch out, right? Trying to branch out, so that's why we went to Disney Paris.
Yes, and we finally got to go to another Disney park other than Disney World. And which is the theme of this show. We have to talk about Disneyland Paris, which we loved most of it, right? Mm-hmm. And but we got to hang out till the very last minute to find out exactly what we loved about it, or maybe we hated it.
That's awesome. We want to say thank you so much, Spurmarks, for the $20 super chat. I did get buzz. Oh, wait, are you talking? At first, I was like, are you talking about me drinking, or are you talking about this? No.
He's working on it.
What was that?
You're working on the other buzz part.
There you go. But yeah, I just decided on Friday, I started cutting it a little and I was like, oh, let me just do the whole thing. I just took it all off. First time doing it. So, but thank you.
Thank you. I think we're going to kick in and do a dance before we welcome in the rest of the people that we have in here. So I'm hoping I chose the right.
Well, that says dance. So.
I don't think it's good. Okay.
Live your life within the moment, and don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is
What the heck is that?
over. All that I know is we'll get older.
Okay, it's gonna pick up.
Better stands this night away.
Thank you so much for that
Thank
super
you so
chat.
much,
Very
Mark.
nice of you.
Very
Ooh,
nice.
that's all right. I'm already hot from that
I
now.
know, right? Thank you. Very nice. Let's welcome everyone in. First one is our Modigator friend from Nautical Nurse Nancy.
Anthony Simone, welcome. We got controversial cruising.
Welcome in, Scotty.
We're gonna have to turn that air
I
down
know,
more.
it is.
Jack Sandy Claus 1993. Logan, welcome.
in.
Come in, Matt.
Surfer Girl 326, welcome.
Three.
Where are
We
we?
got
Danny
changed her name a little bit.
Danny Dizzle,
The
the
super
super
supporter.
supporter. Welcome.
Her brother just got married.
Oh wow!
Just to-
Congratulations.
You look so adorable in your pictures, and the wedding pictures were amazing. You look so excited, Danny.
You have
So,
a
I'm
new
very
addition
happy
to your
with
family.
yes,
Yeah.
she's been so excited about it.
More to see. Welcome.
Welcome in. Danny says she's dancing too.
Be right back.
Are you going to get the air
Yeah,
going?
it's
All right.
hot in here.
We got up to 103 on Saturday, and then it went down to like the lower 90s. I think today's only supposed to be 92, but there's no ceiling fan in this room, so we had to put the air on. We actually don't even need to put the air conditioning on when it gets like that, but we have everything shut up, so we thought, yeah, let's put some air conditioning on. Najima Brown, welcome in. Go
Welcome.
Bills. I love you guys, but there's only one flaw. And Charlie, do you know what that flaw is?
With who? With me?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I already know what you're
I've
gonna
got
say.
so many flaws. What?
No, he's saying it's sports related.
No,
And
my
you like
God.
the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Charlie, and which always surprises me because
Dolphins.
Charlie, they lived in Massachusetts area, right? It was
More
Massachusetts.
sunshine, please.
Yeah.
Welcome.
And
What's up, Jim?
he's a Miami Dolphins fan, so
He's always been a Miami, even in
Yeah.
high school.
that's amazing. But yes, hopefully this year the trend still continues with the Bills beating the Dolphins. But besides that, I love you. And
Can we get some more sunshine, please? Actually, we have enough sunshine. Can we get some cooler air from you, please?
cloud cover,
What?
a little bit of cloud cover.
I thought you said cow cover. I was like, huh?
Mm.
We're gonna say dilly dilly to everybody. Taste your way around the world is what we're drinking in these cups, but we are drinking our favorite wine, Rosa Regale. It's very good.
It's sparkling.
Yep. It's smooth
It's
and sweet and fruit tasting and just really tastes good. So dilly dilly, everybody.
Mr. Mike Woodbury is here, our buddy from Bakersfield.
Welcome.
He is the one that we're gonna be staying with when we go to Walt Disney World in October. So
Yes.
after the show, we'll talk more about what our plans are.
Yes.
For that. So yeah, excited about that. But I'm so excited about your trip. It made me rewatch our video.
Well, we both
vlogs.
rewatched it. Yeah.
I think you fell asleep on that one.
No,
too.
I didn't.
But
Okay, partially. I think I did.
but
I was just tired.
it just brought back so many good memories and just being there. And that was our first video series. And I thought we did not the best job.
I think
for
we
the
did
first
good.
one,
I liked how it
but
came out.
the hardest thing was the volume and knowing when you're filming where the mic is on it. Because we were constantly changing the TV tone. Other than that, I thought the story setting and what we did, I thought we did a really good job for it being a very first video series.
I loved it.
8 years ago.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that far back. And then the fact that we did a 10K around both parks, that was amazing.
Yes,
so.
it was good, which they don't do anymore. But happy belated anniversary to you guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you guys had a beautiful day together.
This was
and trip.
a trip for your anniversary, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went a little early. Our anniversary was actually yesterday. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it was a little bit early, but yeah, yesterday we just chilled. We did absolutely nothing. But yeah, we celebrated it in Disneyland Paris. So
Nice.
Welcome from North to Neverland.
Hello.
Welcome. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys were able to do that for your anniversary. That's always going to be a special trip for you, and it's your first time being there, and you had travel and plane trips there. And how did that all go for you? I know we watched some of your videos, and I know you are a little picky with your food, which is fine.
I asked before we got on, is there a reason why you're picky with food? Is it just because you're picky, or can you not eat something?
And she was honest. She said, I'm picky.
So if there's a zombie apocalypse, she's gonna starve to death.
Well,
She's gonna starve to death.
plain food isn't the greatest. I'm sorry.
I rate all the candy bars if there's a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, plain food isn't always the best, but with international flights, they usually give you some pretty tasty meals. I know we had dinner and breakfast. I think you guys had the same thing, right? Dinner and breakfast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
how did
we flew Aer Lingus. The first thing we noticed was there was not a lot of leg room on Aer Lingus.
Really?
Of all the flights we've taken,
That was the
different
least
companies.
amount of we've flown Continental way back, Southwest, JetBlue, and I have flown British Airways and Aer Lingus, and this was definitely the one with the least amount of leg room out of all of them that I've ever flown.
Wow. So
we're like, wow, this is going to be a long flight. This way, before we even sat down, you could tell the difference just visually that they were more
if you
cramped.
put your seat back, so if you put your seat back, you can almost like massage something if you wanted to.
Oh my God.
It was close, very close.
Did you guys pay for extra leg room, or where were you on the plane?
No, we were in row 26. It's not an exit seat or anything like that. Some of the models were showing that it wasn't going to have a seat, a window, but we're glad to know that was wrong. So we did have a window on
What was it?
242.
242.
So
we
setup
had
for the plane.
two.
So it was good. So we
window.
just had us, and we can put the arm rest up between us and finagle it a little bit where we can get a little bit of a little bit more room, whatever, and sleep.
Yeah, we didn't really sleep on the plane.
Not really. We never do. It's just
Yeah.
hard to do.
My longest flight was 3.5 hours prior, so I was worried about the 8-hour flight, but I watched 4 movies, and it went by. I didn't have like an issue like I thought it was. And the food was an issue though.
The food was an issue with.
It's hard because
you.
They light up the cabin. Was it purple?
It's low lighting, so it's almost like
It's low lighting with a purple hue.
I couldn't see. I got the chicken that was with the mashed potatoes, right? But it's all kind of like mixed and covered with the mashed potatoes, and the chicken's underneath hiding. So, and then with the low lighting, it was like. My problem was I wasn't sure if the chicken was cooked all the way. I need to see chicken. I've had chicken before where it wasn't cooked all the way, and didn't want to do that. So I'm like, I'm not going to take any chances. I just ate very little bit of the mashed potatoes and stuff like that, and I had snacks or whatever. I was fine, and but you had some.
I had a pasta thing, and I heard them say it was vegetarian, so I knew that there was no meat in it.
But there was dark things in it.
But there was dark things in it, which I think were mushrooms.
Maybe mushrooms. She doesn't like mushrooms.
I don't like mushrooms. And the pasta wasn't consistent. Like he kept saying, "Oh, it's tortellini,"
It's tortellini.
but then you had like almost like elbow pasta. I'm like, they're not going to put multiple types of pasta. So I'm like, one of them looked like a shrimp, and I'm like,
I thought you said shrimp.
Wouldn't they have told me if there was shrimp in it? Like they would have said something.
I think it would have smelled shrimp too, but
I would have been Larry eating shrimp on a plane, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I'm a very visual eater on top of being extremely picky. I mean, you could have tried to give me $1 million. I wouldn't have been able to put it in.
The real mystery for us, from us being non-international travelers, pretty much until last week, the real mystery was they would give you this tray of food or whatever, right? And it's all hot food and everything. And then there's this little pouch of milk. Wow. And we're like, what the heck is the milk for? I'm saying, is it like a brand name of some type of candy type of thing? And I was like, it feels like milk. It's liquid like a milk. I was like, why would they give us milk? And then pretty much 20 minutes later, they start bringing the coffee down.
That's why.
Like, oh, the milk's for coffee, but it's already warm, and it's like is it still good because it's been sitting around for half an hour?
That's nasty. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I said, like, can I have some cold milk? She's like, didn't you got milky at them? Like, it was hot. Like my milk was actually hot. Yeah. It wasn't warm. I was like, this is wrong.
I thought it would go bad. I know, in 20 minutes or whatever.
You know,
psychologically, yeah.
Yes, I probably get myself sick.
I just didn't know what to do. Why did they give us this milk? I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, oh, the coffee.
And they didn't tell us that we were going to get coffee
they didn't tell us,
or tea later.
No.
So there was no way to make a connection.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
I would just have it black and say, I'm not even going to have the milk. I like creamer, anyway. So if they didn't have creamer, I'd probably be like, I'll just drink it black and plain.
So we do have a question. Just to confirm, the name of the airline was Aer Lingus.
Yeah,
Lingus.
Lingus. Yes, it's the Ireland main air.
So I wonder if that's how they over there. That's how they serve like their milk on that. Just because like in England when we go, they do things a lot different. They leave things out more than what we do in the U.S. So I wonder if that's kind of like warm beer or not warm, but room temperature beer and soda. Oh. I still drink my sodas room temperature. It's pretty rare that I'll put ice in them.
I have to have ice cold.
That's from my mom. Yeah,
ice cold beer, ice cold soda if I ever have it.
I love the setting of you guys being next to each other. I didn't realize though. I wonder if that's how it keeps the cost down a little bit because they probably fit more passengers on there. But we've flown Virgin, we've flown United to England. Greg and I did, and we had a lot of room, and we didn't upgrade our seats. So I'm thinking that's why it might be less expensive because they put more people on the plane.
The one we were in was like a big Airbus thing. It had like the 3 rows instead of the 2.
I thought we had a Dreamliner.
So yeah, that's something like that where they had like the TVs in back of the person in front of you. The back of their chair there was a TV. So I don't even know if they have TVs. I thought they were phasing all them out.
We had TVs, yes. We had there was the flight from Dublin to Charles de Gaulle that did not have the TV, but that was only an hour and 20-minute flight, so it was not a big deal. But the other flights they had TVs.
Which was very helpful.
Yeah, and when I was booking it, I was looking for the most reasonable prices from Orlando to Paris, and Aer Lingus was one of the cheapest ones. It still wasn't the cheapest, so like it was over $800 each, and it was each way, and it was still so it wasn't that. But you have your Virgin Airlines, you have the other ones that were way higher, so it was we didn't pick that. We're trying to keep it reasonable for a 4-day long weekend type of thing.
I tried to get a free upgrade. They didn't buy it. They didn't care that it was our anniversary.
Yeah, our anniversary.
Well,
they said that they were all sold out, which I'm not too sure if that's true.
Mike is asking, it was an Airbus? Is that what you were on?
Yeah, it was an Airbus 330 or 300, and it was it was the 242 set up on the plane. It was decent size. It wasn't like a tiny airplane, but didn't have the upper deck. It wasn't like a 747 or anything like that. It wasn't like those big giant Dubai airplanes, that's for sure. I saw some of those at the airport, which those looked amazing. Those looked like flying fortresses. It was like
they're humongous.
Yeah,
with the beds and everything in them.
Yeah, and so it wasn't like that. And it was just one level. All they had was business class and poor people class. And
oh, come on now. But I know what you mean.
So business class, peasants and riffraffs.
Hopefully, when you got to your hotel, they made it more magical for you. So you see, well, we watched your videos and we saw your room in the hotel. It looked totally different from our room because we saw our room on our videos. I know Mike just rewatched our Disney Paris ones as well. And our room had like Fantasia pink wallpaper. It was like border wallpaper on the, by the ceiling area and everything. And then it had like pink wallpaper inside. You guys didn't have any of that. I think
Snow White, I think.
Ours was Snow White themed.
Yeah, I think they upgraded the rooms. Or maybe you were just in a different area.
And I don't want to seem, I
too.
don't want to be complaining about the flight. We were still excited and it was still fine. And it wasn't like we were starving to death. And it wasn't like we were like super, super cramped. But we just wanted to let people know that that was one of the more cramped airlines we've ever been on.
That was one of the most surprising things.
But it wasn't, it wasn't a bad trip. We had so much fun. We had watched movies and we were going to an exciting new place. And we were very excited to be going, and it was a good trip. It wasn't we didn't have tons of turbulence or anything like that. It was fine. We had a lot of movies to watch.
I'm just glad I bought food.
Yeah.
No, we understand with the flight and everything, especially that long of a flight, you want to have room to be able to put your feet out and stuff like that. Even when we fly, I try to get my carry-on kind of out of the way where I can at least have one foot way more underneath the next person in front of me under their seat, and then I can try to pull that leg back, move my carry-on and switch the foot and put that one out for a little bit just so you have your circulation going.
Yeah, someone who wants to say hi.
Hey, Avery.
Oliver.
How you doing? Aw. How you doing, Avery? Good.
All right, now go stop harassing the cat.
I know.
Harassing the cat.
He's like, I'm going to go back and watch my shows or whatever he was doing.
I did like that they did give us a pillow and a blanket.
Yeah, they did.
That's
for the
nice
flight.
of
It was
them.
good. But at times when we had to have our stuff underneath the seat in front of us, we had to find room for the pillow, and the blanket also had to be under. You could. When we take off, we had to have everything so they could see our feet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, where am I supposed to put it? He shoved his behind his back.
Oh, of course.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Leprechauns explains the legroom-ish. I'm all legroom. It looked like one word.
Lucky Charms.
I could have gone for some Lucky Charms while we're on.
Well, with your hotel, you guys had a really good location because it faced right into the park. It looked like
we were in the other tower. Our tower was by the swimming pool in the spa area.
The other part.
So you were on the other wing, it looked like. But what you were showing like a little garden area. Was that inside one of the Disney parks, or what was that area?
It was between. It was on the left side of the main entrance.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
So
so you had the gardening part, and then it was the villages and studios.
Right. Yeah. So we're right there. So it was like
But you could hear the music. You could actually hear the music from
That's
the park.
awesome.
Yeah, that's how close.
Yeah, it was.
So you can like take a nap and listen to Disney music while you fall asleep.
well, that door, I'm telling you, that door was soundproof because you can open it up and it was pretty loud, but
It
you
was.
closed it, you didn't hear anything. It was
Yeah.
Oh
great.
wow.
Yeah.
So you guys, you liked your location? You
The hotel
liked
was
your
awesome. Yeah,
room?
very, very pretty. I said it was a mix of the boardwalk and Grand Floridian, I would say,
Yeah.
with a lot more pink.
I know.
So
It was so pink
A
on the
rose gold,
outside.
pink, whatever you want to call it. It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Did
actually
you-
No, it wasn't rose gold. It was
everywhere.
pink.
Oh, really?
Did you get your room upgraded? Because I don't know if I was out in the kitchen. Sorry. We had a tall bathtub that you had to jump up or jump out of. It was so high.
Jump out! What the heck are you, like a lemur?
like,
you had to
"Hello."
jump out of. You jumped out of it like this. I'm gonna jump out of
Hello.
the bathtub now.
Yes. But you had a amazing shower. Did you have a special?
It was a weird French
It was
shower.
weird.
It wasn't even. It was a glass door, but the door only went halfway. So the back. Yeah, these French people are weird. It's just like, yeah, okay, you have the shower head that's draining straight down. You have the glass door that's maybe 3 feet wide, and then you have 2 feet of openness.
It's weird.
And they put your towels in the shower at the end of the wall inside the shower.
Yeah.
And this
I've
lady,
seen that. Yeah.
this lady could not figure out how to work the water. I forgot to show her, and she didn't ask. So she had.
I had the hot
she had
water, which was fine.
fit at one point.
But when I went, see, I don't like to be cold.
So she had a fit.
Okay.
But she couldn't figure out how to make
And
the
when
hot
I went
water.
to turn, I had no problem taking the shower, right? No problem. When I went to go turn it off, I did not touch the hot and cold button because I knew what that was. I touched the thing that you would turn it off or switch it to the different things. And instead of turning all the way off, it's because they had like the
Did they
regular,
switch to the power?
the rain thing, and then it had
yeah,
like
the handle
the
part.
handle squirty thing.
That's
It
how it.
went right on me.
That's when she drank.
Freezing cold.
Oh my!
And like that's like one of my worst things in the world.
So she comes out. She was ticked off because she couldn't figure out how to turn off the rest of the
I
water.
couldn't get it
So
turned
I
off.
walk into the bathroom door, and it looked like Beirut. I was like, "What did you do?" It was
I
like
left the water
50
on.
towels all over the floor. And it was like a giant lump of mashed potatoes in the middle of the. What did you do? Every towel was soaked.
They hung towels inside your shower. So they all got soaked. I couldn't turn it off because that's how cold water is, and I can't get around it. And I'm like, and when you go into the shower, it's actually a step up.
She
So
did not.
literally, water could come out and just go and flood the bathroom. If you
Which
ever
it
know,
looked like it did apparently.
She was not happy with France. With the entire country of France was feeling her wrath. At
oh
that
my
point.
god!
Wow.
I'm
So you had a
like,
nice hot shower and you ended it on a cold note and got spritzed with
oh
cold
my god!
water.
It was freezing cold, and that was like, nope, I'm done.
Well,
I was so upset.
I figured
Yeah.
out. And
Those are always fun.
Yeah.
Trying to figure them out.
Then we hit the reset button. The rest of the vacation was
Yeah.
smooth sailing after that. So it was.
We didn't get a chance to welcome Cheryl One Deck Down and also
Tiffany Peacock,
So
welcome.
in. Thank you so much for joining us.
Like, someone in your tub.
I've had that happen before where I went to turn on the shower and it turned on the wand that was stuck up on the wall and I was barely waking up, turn on the water, bam, it comes right on me cold. I was like, oh, I had to, like, shut it off
That's a
really quick.
This is,
Yes, it's like I'm awake now.
So if people don't know, Disneyland Hotel is
Very
basically
pink.
at the very front of the park, and you have to go under it to get into the entrance
Mhm.
of Disneyland Paris Park.
That's pretty
Park
cool. I
Disney.
like they did that
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, it's unique for sure.
That's great.
And then when you go out, you pass through what they call you pass on the right would be Walt Disney Studios, and then you kind of go to the left. There's a train station. There's the Village, which is like downtown Disney, more like it's very set up like Disneyland with a little bit set up. I mean,
Except it's not across from each other. It's side by side. Yeah.
And then you go to the other hotels. Did you guys get a chance to go into and look at the other hotels?
We didn't go to look at the other hotels. We saw them when we were on the Magical Express on the way home because we were the first ones on the bus, and the Magical Express bus goes to all the other 4 or 5 resorts and picks up more people there. So we got to see what was out there.
But what we thought was funny is they were all based on America.
Different parts of America.
So I'm glad we didn't stay at any of them because I'd be like, why am I staying at one that's based off of the western part of America?
One, they had a Sequoia one. Yeah, it was.
I thought that was really funny. So I'm glad we did what we did.
We did go in the Sequoia one, like in the lobby area, because you could walk there right where by the water. You walk there.
We thought it would be like
it was really nice inside.
We thought it would be like the Animal Kingdom Lodge or the one
Wilderness Lodge, it was
in California.
It kind of was.
It wasn't. It was.
It still had a woodsy cabin feel to it. It does,
but you don't walk into that room that's huge. Even like Fort Wilderness Campground, it didn't have that lodge feel to it. It was very compact and low ceilings. I think we would probably stay there next time just to have a different experience if we went back there. It was a New York hotel, and I think they changed it now into, is it a Marvel hotel there now?
No, I didn't see Marvel. I did see New York.
New York, yeah.
We saw New York. I think they themed the rooms in. The rooms are themed.
One, and then a Sequoia one, and then there was a old Western town one. Yeah, remember? And then
it was when we were going, we're like, oh my god!
I don't remember any Avengers one at all.
No,
the rooms are themed. The rooms were themed with the Marvel. Is what they did.
Okay.
But it's in New York.
So, excuse me. Oh my god. So with the hotel, what are some pros of the hotel that you liked and you enjoyed? I know you had some room service.
Location, right? Yeah. It was just easy. We were walking out that door, and we're like 50 feet away from.
That was wonderful.
The queues.
Right. That was really.
They have a designated entrance just for the hotel people, so we were in 2 seconds, and it was great.
Yeah.
And they had 2 major restaurants in there. One of the down things is they didn't have a store that had like conveniences like milk and eggs and
or even
cheese and chips and stuff like that.
If you need Advil or diapers or how like Disney usually has one
that type
of those convenience stores that has like a hodgepodge of anything you could think of that you might need that you didn't pack. They didn't have anything like that.
So you had the regular store that was merch, but if we did find out that if they had a few things in the back, but they had you had to go up to the cashier, you had to ask them, and they had like a little tiny menu thing that had you can get soda or stuff like that. It was very
basic, just like soda.
And we would not have known if we didn't ask. We thought maybe it was another store in a different part of the hotel.
Right.
And we said we don't have anything like that, but we do have a specific menu that we do have a few things out back. We go out and get them for you. They're not out here on the shelves, so you got to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So you could have gotten emergency sodas or something in there, but it was.
Yeah, so that was a little different because we're used to doing that. We always rely on being able to pick up snacks or whatever, especially with me and my picky eating. So that was surprising. Like I was guaranteeing to be able to run to one of those little stores in the hotel to pick up, I don't know, anything, anything that I could eat, and that wasn't an option. Because it was only soda that they really offered. It wasn't even food.
You did have room service. Was that good?
That was good.
Yes, we had it twice.
And she found something that she liked, the pasta, which was really good.
Oh, it was really good.
That was expensive.
This what was it? 36 or 26 euros?
I don't remember how much.
I want to say it was 26 euros. It might have been 36, but I don't think it was.
But our price though was for
per meal.
Was
per plate. So
so we got 2 of those, plus we got a cheese platter, which usually tends to be on the expensive side.
26 euros.
But they came out pretty nice though. They came up and they did a little table. They took the things out and they had nice little white tablecloths, and they took it out of the thing underneath, which made so it was really still piping hot when they got it out on the table. So it was like really, really good. And
I would have paid more for it if
She had to find. Yeah, she
I
had
needed
trouble.
to eat like real
He's like,
food.
I have food.
Oh my gosh. So, and it was really good.
Good.
And normally, like, I'm worried about sauce and everything. So, it was really good. I would have definitely paid more for it because it hit the spot. The cheese platter was a little disappointing, but the room service was great. The way they presented, they even had like a little flower.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I would definitely do that again. I would recommend that. You know, it makes it a little extra special.
Did you have problems finding stuff for breakfast, or are you not normally breakfast people anyway?
I'm not a huge breakfast person. She did not like
so
any type of version of the coffee they had in that room. She did not.
Like so my breakfast is coffee.
Yeah.
I usually would have like a big coffee, and I did not find a good cup of coffee since the morning we left to go to France. Like the Plains coffee, like I could have put a gallon of milk and a whole jug of sugar, and it still would not have been like, because I'm used to creamers, you know, and flavor creamers and stuff. And oh my God, the coffees were so strong. And I tried it at both airports, you know, at the hotel.
Find
oh my gosh, I was dying for coffee. But
I understand.
The first thing I did.
Yeah, I understand the pickiness of coffee. Because when it comes to coffee, it's like you got to have it just right. But just so you know, when you come to Disneyland sometime, they got a Starbucks, so you shouldn't have any problem with that.
But
even the hotel coffees weren't, you know, they weren't even.
I think a lot of that though is culture, because when people come from our country, they're looking for the strong, like you had mentioned, espresso. It's like strong like espresso. That's what they're used to, and a lot of people were saying they don't like our coffee. It's not strong enough. So I think it's part of what.
Yeah, it's the same when they come here.
Yeah, their coffee is espresso. Not coffee.
No.
Well, that's kind of how I feel. Like
the first time she tried the coffee machine, she used them. She didn't realize she used the espresso packet. She used the espresso packet, so that was unfair. But even when we tried the real coffee one the next day, it still was way too strong.
Yeah,
for her
right.
anyway,
So, but even on the Plains,
it wouldn't really have mattered.
I mean, the Plains coffee is coffee, and no, so I ended up doing tea. I was a tea drinker.
So, did you try the bakery in the park on Main Street? Because I know they have an area that's like a bakery. You can get coffees there. Did you try any of that?
We didn't. No.
Well, we tried a bunch of different places, not for coffee though.
Yeah, I gave up on the coffee after the 2 flights and then in the hotel room. I was like, I'm not having any coffee, because I think we even had one in the park and I didn't like it. So
we kind of moved on, and again, we made a really good time of it, and it was like when something bad happened, just brush it off and move on. And we had a really good time.
I had chocolate. I had the hazelnut crepes in the park.
There was lots of crepes and lots of fancy little booths that had cool foods, and
they did all the desserty type little booths that they had they all looked wonderful. And amazing. They smelled so good.
Before we get more into the parks and everything, I know we heard some of your cons, the shower, the coffee.
Shower was
just any other cons? What was that?
The shower was nothing really. You just got to learn the shower. It's just
well, it's still a con, like something happened that you didn't like. So, and it's fine.
If you have little kids that like to dress up, I highly suggest the Disneyland Hotel. They're really big on up in the Florida Walt Disney World. They have a Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. I don't think that's what they called it in France, but they not only have the little girls that dress up in all the different princess dresses, and they're like really nice dresses.
Yep.
And they get all done up. It's huge in France. It's huge. They also have prince costumes.
There's a lot of young boys
that were dressed
up as princes. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, head to toe prince costumes. Even like the cover of the sneakers, like the booties and stuff. So
Yeah, they did.
that's huge. Like even when you were in the park, they would have stores, or even outside the store, racks of the costumes and everything. And the hotel was huge on it. Of course, the hotel that we stayed at is like a princess, like a royal. I don't know if you would say it would be like a royal hotel, but when we walked into the hotel to check in, Cinderella was coming down.
That was
They
cool.
have really special things. So if you have little kids,
That was
I highly
cool.
suggest this. The hotel is like geared specifically for families.
Yeah.
We didn't have that interaction. We
pink
never
and
saw that
princessy.
when we stayed there. So that was cool to see that on your video.
So going from that to we're getting more into the parks era. What did you guys think of the parks with Disneyland and
Do Disneyland first.
Okay, so with Disneyland, did you do kind of like what we did? When you walk in, you expect something to be on one side, and you're like, "Oh wait, we're not at our park," which would be for you Walt Disney World. For us, it's like, "Oh wait, we're not at Disneyland in California." Did you get that feeling?
I don't know. At first, I absolutely love being able to walk over into the park.
Mm-hmm.
It was
You know,
great
from the
walking-
hotel, that was like super special.
It was familiar and different at the same time. We
Well,
love how
you
you're
still-
walking into Main Street, USA.
But you walked underneath the train station just like you would
Right,
at
right. I'm
Walt
saying
Disney
it's
World.
familiar.
Yeah, yeah.
And but you still had Frontierland and Adventureland over to the left. You had Discovery Island, which is there. Tomorrowland to the right. You had Fantasyland up back to the
Kind of back right.
right type of thing, and so it was kind of familiar. Their Adventureland and Frontierlands are swapped, I think, and it was still very nice. They have running arcades on each side of Main Street as well, which are covered
That
in
was
stores
cool.
on.
That was
more
really
like-
cool.
When I say arcade, I'm talking French store arcades, not the more shops and boutiques, not the 80s video games arcades, not
Yeah.
like that. So
It reminded me of like the World's Fair for some reason.
it did. They had some cool things on the both sides of those, where they had little places where you popped in, and there's like they were talking about there's Carnegie Steel. It made you feel like you were in the American Adventure type of thing.
Yeah,
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, there was a lot where I kind of felt like, okay, I felt comfortable because I saw, like, when you walk in Main Street, you have the Emporium Confectionery. I felt fine going through. I didn't feel lost really.
Yeah, they had some walls up where they were doing some construction, but other than that, it was like we had our first walk-in was the night when our travel day.
Yeah.
Because we had gotten in there around 6, so we had from like 6 to 11, 6 to 10:40, whatever, to get a head start, and we were surprised. So
Oh my god.
with the low crowds, we popped on Pirates.
There was a lot of people
Haunted
there. It's just
Mansion,
not on the rides.
And I think they were all walk-ons. We were like, wow.
Phantom Manor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right away, it was like, wow, you saved so much time, because it took the stress off of having to do every single thing the next day.
Right.
Yeah.
And it helped. But
I
it
was
just-
really
it's a very pretty park. It's a very pretty park.
Yeah.
I was disappointed for you that you were not able to experience the greatest Thunder Mountain ever at
Oh, gosh.
Disneyland Paris. That was such a letdown for me to have you not be able to do that, if that makes sense. I felt let down for you, and we weren't even there, but we really were hoping that you'd be able to experience that. So hopefully you get to go again
That ride was
and
so
get
much
on
fun.
that, because it was an awesome ride.
Yeah. It looked bigger than Walt Disney World.
Yep.
And it had a lot of scaffolding up on it. So yeah.
That and their riverboat was all.
It was actually tarped over, right?
Yeah, they were doing
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you guys went on a ride we didn't get to go on because that one was shut down. You went on the Indiana Jones ride,
Yes.
and you said there was a loop. I didn't know there was a loop. I thought, why would a minecart go upside down? But what did you guys think of that?
We were expecting something more like
I was
what
in
you guys
shock.
have. We're expecting storytelling. We're expecting going through mine things at a a storytelling pace. But we're like, okay, this looks like a roller coaster, and it was a flat, straight roller coaster, a true roller coaster where you go on it.
The queue was themed.
Yeah, the queue was themed,
Like
but there wasn't no
archaeology
storytelling.
themed,
And
no.
it was Indiana Jones. You're on a, you're in like an Indiana Jones setting, but there was no storytelling to it. It was just you hopped on there. It was a pretty vigorous roller coaster. I wouldn't say it was a step down from like Space Mountain or whatever. It only had like that one loop, and it was kind of like I said, mine train-ish type of thing, so more like a mouse trap-ish type of roller coaster. Mm-hmm. And they did have the things over you, so you're safe in the loop. It was just weird, but something we were not expecting. So that's why
I know. I'm so glad you saw the sign, because I would have been in total shock.
Walking by, and it's like, this is a 360-degree loop. I'm like, what a loop?
I'm so glad. I'm just
I'm out there looking for it. I'm like, I don't see no loop. Do you think they're messing with us?
And it happens right away, doesn't it? Like they take you off, and then that's I think one of the first things you do.
Wow.
I can't remember, but it was definitely.
We didn't get to see much of it because we didn't go on it.
Yeah, the only thing we heard about it, it's not really a highly thought of ride, and it's pretty rough, is what we heard.
It is a little bit rough.
It is rough. It is definitely.
If you like coasters, like you're gonna like it, but it's just I was expecting something totally different.
See, I find the Walt Disney World Thunder Mountain rough, and I felt like that the Indiana Jones was just as rough.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you guys? What did you think of the castle? Like how grand it looked, and it had its own hill and everything. I thought that was cool.
The dinosaurs,
I like that.
The dragon,
water fountain too, which was nice.
A lot more interactive. You can go upstairs. You can check out the outside and the inside upstairs, and check out all the windows and the stained glass windows.
Little statues.
You can go down into the side dungeon and check out the dragon. And the dragon is animatronic and it's moving. And it's growling.
I could stay there all day and watch it. Oh, I loved it.
It's very cool to hear it breathing and stuff. It was just it was a really cool experience. The first night it was blocked off, so I think we were there too late. We arrived after 6. So maybe they closed it down at 6 or 5:30 or 5 or whatever. So we're like, it's better not be getting renovated the whole time we're here. It was open the next day, so it was good. We got on it as soon as we saw it was open. We got in there. So it was definitely a really cool castle. I'm still particular to ours. I still like ours better. I wish they would go. I wish they would change the colors of ours back to white and blue, but it is what it is. But it's definitely a good castle and definitely worth seeing. It's just it's different. It's like apples and oranges.
Yeah, I really like the castle. It's pretty.
Yeah, I think for me, it's the second most grandest castle that we've seen so far. I would still say the castle. Is it Cinderella's castle at Magic Kingdom? That is way bigger, I think, than the one in Paris. And then we have our little Sleeping Beauty castle at Disneyland.
It's funny. I was watching someone and they were at Disneyland,
but it's the original.
And they looked and they said, "Where's the castle?" And you're on Main Street and you're looking down and you can barely see.
In front of you.
That one out there is like a pop-up tent, right?
It's like 89. Yeah, it's like 89 feet tall. Welcome in Simba 2 and Melissa Mouse.
Yep. All the airs, welcome. Did you guys have a favorite? I know we could probably talk about it for hours, but did you have a favorite ride at the Disneyland park?
Oh gosh.
Each of you could have your own or the same.
Phantom Manor was awesome.
Yeah, it was either that or
Pirates. Yeah, they're both great. And then Hyperspace Mountain was awesome too.
That was really good. We even enjoyed the cars.
That's not Disneyland.
Speedway.
Oh, the other car. Yeah, your Autopia. The Autopia out there is pretty cool.
It's much better than the one in Walt Disney World.
I don't remember them having cars there.
Yeah, they had just like the Tomorrowland Speedway, except they had the cars that they go out into the countryside and they're up on the hills and
that's cool.
Yeah,
ups and downs
over bridge.
That
and
was so much better than ours.
I don't think we did that. I don't even remember it being there.
It's behind it's to the.
It was longer.
It's to the right before you get to Hyperspace Mountain. It's over that side.
Oh, awesome.
And the steering wheel worked.
Yes.
Right.
It had automatic brakes for
Oh
when
my
you're
God.
going downhill. If you went too fast, all of a sudden it slams the brakes on you.
And you do go down hills where you're starting to go quite fast.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Did you have to push hard on the gas? Because or whatever I think they use gas or battery. But I know at Disneyland, my feet will start to hurt after a while pushing down on the pedal for it to go. Did you have that issue?
Not that I remember.
You didn't say
No.
anything.
Yeah,
so I
it
don't
was
think
just.
so.
I just remember it was much more scenic and much more rural. It was like out in the countryside instead of driving around a racetrack. So it was really cool. I really liked that ride.
Welcome, Ben.
Welcome in, Ben, from Pepper Tree Villa. Check them out on Monday nights. Well, we have a lot of people go live. More Sunshine Please go live on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern.
And I apologize, Jim. We have not been able to make your show. I apologize. We will try better to make your show more. It's just with work and everything going on. So I know you don't have hard feelings, but we will try.
He's going to unsubscribe to it.
I can hear him cussing up a storm in the background.
He texted me yesterday, Jim. He's like, did Derek and Gregory hate me? What did I do? I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's...
No.
Pepper Tree Villa go live Mondays, 8 o'clock Eastern. And you guys go live right before us on Wednesdays. You go live at 7 o'clock Eastern. So check them out before you jump over to us on there.
Do we want to move into Walt Disney Studios?
So
what did you guys think?
There is a second park over there, and it's called Walt Disney Studios. What was your thoughts on that?
So it's funny because we got there early, and you go into the park, and there's a big wide walkway, and it leads you to a building. So you have to walk through this building
stage one.
to get into the park.
Yep.
It has the Brown Derby. It has the Brown Derby in there.
Yeah.
People were running.
They run down in France.
They were running. I was like, wow, how very un-French-like. They were running.
And then when we finally got through that building, everyone was running to the right while we're heading to the left. We're like, what is over there that we don't know? Are we doing this wrong?
Maybe we just should have did a little bit more research.
You know? Well, we stuck to our guns when we went left. And
yes, we went left and we did Spider-Man right on as a walk-on. And then by the time we got off of that, we went into a couple stores, and then we got right into the line for the Avengers flight crew, which is kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy meets Aerosmith. It was really, really
that was a good
awesome roller.
I wasn't there when we were there.
No,
it also had,
wasn't.
Because it had like it had that effect like Hyperspace Mountain had with the Star Wars TIE fighter fighting and stuff fighting around you. Except it was the Avengers fighting the bad guys around you while you're going on the roller coaster and you're going upside down and you go. Yeah. It was really, really good.
That was a good ride, yeah.
I highly recommend that. If you like coasters, it goes upside down, I think 3 times, and it takes off, and it's a really fast, thrilling ride.
I'll sign up for that one.
Yeah, you gotta check that out. It's really good.
I know you had mentioned that you were thinking about doing the Tower of Terror there. Did you go on that?
We did.
Yes, we did. Yeah,
I like their Tower of Terror better than ours.
We didn't get to do it.
I kind of disagree. First of all, their Tower of Terror was way too clean. we have cobwebs and everything all over the place, and dust.
There's some dust and webs somewhere.
They look like it was like
someone
it was like
a little bit.
Clean, desperate hotel, whatever. And they had maybe a few cobwebs on some of the chandeliers.
Yeah, it wasn't as extreme as ours.
And then their ride just goes up and down. It doesn't go down the tunnels and straight forward or anything like that. It's just up and down, just up and down.
That's Disneyland. They changed it. That's one thing we liked about Walt Disney World is because you go, your vehicle actually moves.
But theirs is an actual Tower of Terror, right? It's not Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just Tower of Terror.
The difference is the Walt Disney World one is the story of how the tower gets struck and you got that family. And and then your car's going crazy. The one in France only is focused on the little girl.
No, she keeps on
you
telling
go
you,
up and
don't
down.
scream or it makes it worse. Don't scream.
I know,
make it
the
worse.
door
She said like
opens,
50
she's like,
times.
You don't scream,
It's gonna
it'll
make
be
it
worse.
worse.
And then it shuts, and then you go up and down, and then
Oh,
she
wow.
would do that like a few
Yes,
times.
Lots of screams. Yeah.
I kind of liked that. I liked it. It didn't feel. It had a better feel to me
Oh, good.
than our Tower.
Yeah.
I don't
I
like
like
the
ours.
wishy. I don't like the hovering wishy-washy. I think ours does that more.
Maybe.
So
Did you like the Ratatouille ride and the restaurant that went together?
The Ratatouille
Yes.
rides is the same as ours without you don't have to wear the glasses over
Which we
there,
liked.
which we liked
Yeah.
a lot. The restaurant was awesome.
yeah. So thank you guys for telling us about the restaurant.
You're welcome.
Because when we saw it, we were like, "Oh my god!" And
You
I
can
was
see it from the
trying-
ride. There's a part you
Right?
see the
Yeah.
restaurant from the ride. We're like, wow, that looks so cool. It's almost like where you're in the Mexico ride, where you see in the Mexican restaurant.
Uh-huh.
This was like seeing
You
Yeah.
see the ride from the restaurant too.
Like, wow.
Yeah, and I was trying to book a reservation there. Like as soon as you guys mentioned it, I was trying every day to book a reservation, and it was full. And I was like, "Oh, geez, we're not going to be able to do it." But when we got off the Ratatouille ride, which I didn't care if we are going to do it or not because I felt like it was going to be the same thing as ours. But we went on it anyways. And when we got off the ride, we saw a little sign that said, "This row with reservation, this row without reservation." And we were like, well, let's try to get in.
We got in 10 minutes. It was
10
like-
minutes.
Nice.
It was like as soon as they opened up the doors, it was like there's one couple in front of us. I took them, and then we were next.
That's
We
awesome.
got to get in there.
And
And it
the
was
food
like
was really good.
it was awesome.
And you did it right after the ride, so that was like it
Yeah.
went right
It was
together.
great.
It
Yeah.
was great.
We're glad that we came across that. The theming of that restaurant is really, really
It was
great.
fun.
The service
Fun.
was great, and the food was really great.
Yeah, that was.
When-
Yeah, I was able to eat.
We were hoping when we went that they would put that restaurant over in Florida,
Mhm.
and they didn't. I don't know why they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll add to it later, or maybe they don't have the room. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well,
but
don't
yeah.
forget that pavilion in Florida has 2 restaurants already.
Close one of
I
them.
think that's why, doesn't it?
Well, they have the
Well,
they have
they-
Chef de France. They have
And
Monsieur
then they have the
Paul's,
one up top. Yeah.
and then they have the crepes.
Yeah, so they technically, they have 2 full restaurants and then a quick service.
I would prefer just make one of them ratatouille, right?
Right?
Was
Monsieur
there a favorite
Paul-
ride?
Paul
Yeah.
can go Monsieur Bye Bye. And just make ratatouille up there. That'd
Right?
be great. That would fit in
Was-
so perfectly too.
I highly suggest eating there. That was really good. I'm so glad we did that.
We're gonna go over a little bit, but we just enjoy that there's so many things that we want to talk about. So we understand people will probably jump onto other channels, but if you guys are good to continue a little bit more, so we can ask some more questions for you guys.
Did you have a favorite ride out of the studio area?
Mine has to be Avengers, but I have
Yeah.
to tell you, they had the Catastrophe Canyon thing.
That was a
in that.
nice surprise.
That-
Yeah,
was-
that's
That
fun.
was so cool. It brought back so many memories of Catastrophe Canyon in Hollywood Studios.
But we were thinking it was the Cars where you got the
We're
actual
walking to this ride.
movie, the Cars.
Mhm.
You know, with
Expecting to be on the
racing.
car ride, the one that's out, I think, in California. You guys go on actual
Yeah.
cars. It's kind of like test track where you're out there.
And the,
riding
and the
on cars.
tram
You're
pulls up. We're like,
just saying the cars.
the Cars ride. And I was
Yeah.
like, that looks like the backstage tour tram.
Yeah, it's like a
Oh, really?
studio tour.
So we're like, oh my god, I wonder. And it was.
So they're
that was
bringing you,
great.
so they're giving you like a tour of Route 66.
Yeah.
And then you come into Catastrophe Canyon, and it's just like Catastrophe Canyon. They have the big tanker, and they have the big
Blows
canyon
out.
things, and the water comes over the top,
That
and
was awesome.
around a little bit. It's
That was great.
That
we were
was-
pleasantly surprised.
yeah, that brought back a lot of memories. It was awesome.
Have a great night. More to see.
Thank
Welcome
you.
in, Ann Hanley.
Thank you.
Um,
Yes.
We
What was your question?
well,
You
did
were
they
gonna ask?
have when we went? It was like a backstage tour, like the old one from Hollywood Studios. Did they have it where you're going through like where a dragon is, like it through London and that? So they
No.
just because the
Oh, because it like breathed out fire out of this like still in
vent.
like a vent type thing, like it was underground, and they just shot like flames coming out like it was a dragon.
Jeremy Lyons hosted the little tram tour, and then they went to Catastrophe Canyon on it. So I'm glad that at least they still have the Catastrophe Canyon portion.
Yeah.
Of it. So I was wondering because that area is where they're building Frozen. So they got rid of the new Frozen land that's coming out. Is supposed to be within that area.
We saw when you walk into, like we were there, that was blocked off, but we could right to the between Tower of Terror and where you start heading over towards the cars part of it. There's a big street, and down there you could see Arendelle. You could see the rooftops. You can see the big mountain and stuff like that. And that looked like it was probably like a month away from opening. It looked like it was really, it was almost done, I would say, from what we could see. So we just missed that, which is what we usually do. We just miss stuff. But it was definitely, it's going to be a really cool place. That's going to double the size of the park, I think, probably.
Oh yeah.
Did you like the Toy Story area?
We didn't really do any rides.
It's kind of like the toddler thing. And the only thing we didn't do that we would have done if we would have went back there at night at the end of the day, we would have done the Turtle Crush ride.
Yes, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, we didn't do that ride because I can be very susceptible to spinning, and it could ruin my entire day. When I get sick, I don't get sick for an hour. I get sick for 24 hours. I don't want to risk anything like that.
It's not a constant spin.
That model you saw, was that little turtle on that sign?
Yeah, on his back.
It's so bad.
It's nothing like that.
It's nothing like that.
They just make it look like it does that, but it really doesn't. Think of Primeval Whirl, kind of like that, but inside. It's not constantly spinning. It spins with the track. Like you're flowing on the track and it's slowly spinning. So you're looking at one angle, and as you're going, you're looking at a totally different angle. But it's not like a constant spin. It was really fun. I really wish you guys went on that.
Leave something for next time, right? We'll do that.
Right.
That was like probably the longest wait, though.
It's so worth it.
That's probably where everyone was running to.
It's so worth it, though. It really is a lot of fun.
Did you get a chance to go in the Remy Land? I forgot what they call it, but
Remy Land, Ratatouille. They did.
But there was that gift shop there. Did you go into the gift shop and look around in there? It's like
we went into every single gift shop that we could see and find and walk by. We went to everything that we could. There was a gift shop in that area.
Yeah.
Why was there something?
No, I know that you love Ratatouille, and
we do love Ratatouille.
We did get.
Oh, we did get something.
That's where we got our Ratatouille with the cheese.
So it says Disneyland Paris.
And it's Gusto's.
And
down here it's kind of like
is that a poster or a book?
It's a poster.
This is
cool.
We're gonna frame it.
A piece of art.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was already in a frame, but yeah, I would definitely frame that.
It's Bistro Chez Remy.
Yeah.
The building, yeah. And we're very particular about our merch that we get. I did not buy one thing for myself because I'm super picky. And I didn't buy a shirt. I didn't buy anything. So.
Well, we were only looking for merch that said Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
They had tons of toys. They had tons of like the kid costumes, and they had a lot of merch that we have at Walt Disney World. But they didn't have tons of Disneyland Paris merch.
That we liked,
either like the colors or whatever.
Well,
so that was hard getting some merch there.
You got something.
I did get a couple tops. Yeah.
Ours was a little different though because so we did find stuff that we liked for the 25th. If it were not the 25th, I'm sure we still would have found something, but I think we went a little bit more all out because it was the 25th. Like we got the Letterman jacket and all that stuff. So, but yeah, we would love to go there again and see the changes and stuff. It seems like, I mean, you guys went on things that we haven't been on, and we've gone on a couple things that you didn't go on at the time. So hopefully when we go again, and when you guys go again, we can kind of swap and do what each other didn't do. So,
Yeah.
Did you guys notice, like when we went, we didn't notice a lot of hats with like the Mickey Mouse ears. Did you guys notice a lot of those?
Oh no, yeah.
No, they did not have a lot of
I don't recall,
hats,
no.
and they did. You saw like the Mickey ears, but they didn't have like all the kinds that we have at like Walt Disney World. There's like tons of different ones, like for every character now, almost.
At Disney World,
They
there's a
didn't.
lot
They
more.
had a lot. Paris was a lot more basic ones.
yeah, and the people were asking where we got our stuff because we would wear, I think, the Mickey Mouse ball cap, Mickey Mouse Club hats,
Yeah.
and they were wondering where we got them from because they don't have that kind of stuff there.
Now our ears are limp, so we don't usually wear them anymore.
I still wear it.
When do you wear it?
We wear when we go to Disney, but I don't know when we're gonna go there again. It's the 70th, but the prices are so high right now, and we have so much going on.
Yeah, we're gonna go this year for the 70th sometime for sure, just to celebrate that. And we won't be there July 17th, but we'll be there sometime this year to celebrate it.
So what all in all of this trip, what did you guys take out of it to summarize it all?
Well, we went there again. One of the reasons why we moved to Florida was to start doing knock off bucket list items from outside of Florida. And this was one of the major ones, and I was really, really happy to do it with on our 30-year anniversary. And it was it kind of made sense, being Paris, being Disneyland, something kind of romantic type of place, with kind of a getaway weekend thing. And we're so glad we did it because it was a bucket item we got to check off, and it was a major bucket item. We definitely wanted to do Paris. I wanted to still do Tokyo Disney.
I liked how we have a different park to compare things to.
Yeah,
because we've only been at Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
So that was really neat seeing the differences, and similarities, or even if the ride was the exact same thing, but it was all in French. It
was cool seeing things like that, and the language barrier was really non-existent. They all spoke English as well.
Really,
we had a couple of workers that
members
could not, or maybe they were pretending they could not.
They said they couldn't speak English.
But it wasn't a big deal, and they were all. And if you made an attempt, which I did make attempts quite often, I had 2 years of French in high school 30 years ago, so I think it went a long way with the cast members. They got a kick out of it, and they I think made them a bit more happier when they
appreciate.
They appreciate
trying.
it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Some of those cast members can speak like 5 different languages.
Right?
When you go to say something, they'll first go.
One guy was showing
Italian,
off. That guy was showing off.
And he's listening. The funny thing is none of them said Spanish.
Oh,
which
wow.
I thought was interesting, but they'd say every other language,
Yeah.
So, it was good. It was really good. I'm glad we went.
Yeah.
Would you do anything different with your traveling to get there?
Try to get a better airline with more leg room. And
at least now that I know, I know I can handle that flight. I think you can handle a flight.
And we'd probably take the train from the airport down to Disneyland next time.
Yes.
We
took the magical shuttle.
That took 2 hours. The first pickup, and I think it was 2 hours from when we got picked up to the drop off the airport. So, I'd probably just try to jump on the train.
The train
instead. Station's right there, right next to the hotel.
Yeah, it's right there.
The channel was fun. It was kind of like you think because you're underwater, it's scary, which it is. But I mean, you're going so fast, and all you see are like lights zooming past you.
We didn't know we were in the channel because we went through a couple of tunnels, and we were thinking, "Oh, are we in the channel?" We thought it would be like big old sign saying the channel or whatever they would say.
I mean, it wasn't all glass and underwater scene.
Nope.
Oh no.
And then we were in there for like 10 minutes, and Greg and I were talking. We thought like, "Oh, we're under the channel. We're in the channel."
Yeah, because you could see like lights going by, but I'm sure the the tunnel is just like this, and then you're just going right through it. So
Yeah,
but
we
the
would
fact
probably
that
just
you're
take it.
under
We would probably just take it from Charles de Gaulle back and forth. So we
That
wouldn't
would be the
even reach
easiest.
I definitely would want to go outside the Disney bubble too.
Yeah, that's a trip that we want in the future. We
With the
want to
kids.
do.
Yeah.
We want to do Normandy and Paris and do those types of things.
Well, I'm glad
Right,
you
we
want
went
to
to a
go back.
long weekend, so it was a short trip.
Yeah, so next time we'll do
Yeah.
longer and bring the kids too.
That's
Mm.
good that you want to go back at least. You
Your-
enjoyed it.
The timing of your trip was really the same timing we did, but your park hours were open later than what Greg and I went because we went.
I was surprised. Yeah, I know. It was like 10:40. You
10:40,
serious? It was
yeah,
like,
that was
wow, it was
wonderful.
awesome.
That helped, especially
Ours
with
was
us
not like
being
that.
warm.
I think 8:30, and the other park closed at 6, so it was closed a lot earlier in September.
Wow.
Wow.
We
Yeah.
are, yes, Anne's asking. I know I missed the beginning, but we are talking about Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
Charlie and Stacy from the Disney Nerd Herders spent their anniversary there earlier, just a couple of weeks ago, and have a chance for them to come on and discuss it. So we went there for my 50th already 7 years ago. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, 7 years ago already. So it was special for us then, special for those guys, for Disney Nerd Herders. So it is, when you guys come to California, Disneyland, you will see how both those two resort areas are very similar in terms of what they offer.
Our parks are very charming, is what the word I would say. They're the original. It's the original. It's very charming and quaint and more intimate because it's more compacted for Disneyland. And then you have California Adventures, but it's our original. We love Disneyland. So, I mean, you can't.
We still say Disneyland's our favorite. For me,
Yeah,
Epcot's
it's the
probably
original.
my second, although I think Magic Kingdom's your second.
I love
And then
Magic Kingdom.
third is Disney California Adventure. So those would be our top 3
Yeah.
parks. I think you say California
I like
Adventure's your
Animal
third one.
Kingdom also, but yeah.
I liked how Disneyland Paris did have different things that we didn't have as well. They had that storybook ride on the boat.
Yeah, that
thing.
was cool.
And they had the
Alice
maze,
in Wonderland maze.
Yes.
We were lost in there for like 20 minutes.
I want to say we were in there for like a good 20 minutes.
Yep.
You cracked me up because like when you were watching it, we were like Greg was saying, yeah, that's the maze we were talking to you about. And you're going in there. Oh, let's see. Oh, it's a little past. And then you filmed a little bit later. This is a long walk. He said something along that.
And you can't see over the hedges either.
I don't know.
We're walking like 3 hours later.
And they have parts where you can go up, like the
Yeah.
tower things and stuff, and come back
I
down.
liked it. I did like that.
Yeah, I love the tower where you can
Yeah.
do a lookout and
Yep.
they direct traffic up one way, down the other way. It was well done.
We
Yeah,
do
I
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
And there's a small world was different as well. It was
Yeah,
very cute. But I
Yeah.
love it how it comes outside. I wish ours did that.
yeah, very colorful.
And I liked how many they had different, not rooms, but different sections for each country. That was like a section for each country, or area. It was like really, really cool. Where ours had giant rooms with 3 or 4 different countries in the giant rooms, But this was like almost, it was like an archway, like every 50 feet or so. I liked how they did theirs.
I do got a question. So for Disneyland California, how is the smoking and vaping in the parks?
You're not allowed to do it in the parks, as
Yeah.
far as I know.
Well,
Yeah.
Paris is not like that.
They had a lot of smoking.
They
and vaping.
had a lot of smoking areas, but they didn't need them because people would just light up and
Just walking
smoke
along,
and vape as they're walking through the park.
Wow.
And the cast members were very scarce.
They weren't telling anybody. Any of them,
Like
yeah.
like in Walt Disney World, there's no way you could take a few steps and not see a cast member. Like there's cast
Same
members
with us.
everywhere.
Yep.
They're like even at rides where like Disney World would have like say maybe 4 visual cast members, there'd be 1 there. There's times where we're like, we needed something. We're looking for a cast member. We couldn't find one. We ended up having to walk into the exit of a ride to actually find a cast member.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So people, they was all over the park. Everywhere was smoking and vaping.
I don't remember that when
So
we went.
that's a big con for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah, they do small.
everywhere. I
There's
think one of my
kids around
videos
too.
talk about it because it was.
Yeah,
It
there's
wasn't
kids
like just
around.
once in a while. It was all the time, everywhere. So that
Yeah.
was a shock.
And they shut down their entire Fantasyland during fireworks.
Even if you're online for a ride,
Yeah.
they make an announcement, and you're supposed to be
They're
like,
making lots of announcements like for an hour and a half before fireworks saying, okay, we closed down.
but Casper doesn't come and say, I'm sorry, we had to close the ride for the fireworks.
They don't stop you from getting in line.
You can just stand there.
And then right
For
before it's like,
hours.
okay, you're out of here.
Yeah, they shut ours down too, but they rope it off and they let people know, like there's cast members there, and they'll say, I'm sorry, it's closed for the fireworks show. They'll be open after the show. You know, they check everything.
No
and
cast members came out.
I was lucky because we were done that land way before
Yeah.
it affected anything that we were doing anyway.
Yeah,
So
right.
it was
Well,
really
one time
well.
we were in line and we were waiting, and we were there for a while, and then they made the announcement. And we're like,
But the ride was broken down. And it was Peter
Yeah.
Pan. The only issue we had with any rides being long or broken down was Peter Pan. So it took us two tries to get
Yeah.
onto Peter Pan, which
it
finally
was the
worked out.
longest line.
And then Pinocchio broke down while we were on it.
We got to walk
Oh,
off.
We had to walk out half that ride, which was pretty
And
cool.
I was
Wow.
allowed to film. They don't
And
care.
they gave us a little ticket to come later to get right on through the
that's
fast.
cool. That's cool.
But again, that's part of the thing where we
That's-
couldn't find any.
We couldn't find a cast member to
find
get
a
the
cast
ticket
member
to.
who we give this to, and there was no fast pass line, so that's when we went in the exit.
We didn't know why.
And she's like, "Oh, come over here," and it's like,
Yeah.
it would have been helpful to have someone outside doing that.
Yeah. Well, even with
It was good, though.
with the Phantom Manor,
It was
there was
fun, though.
the rope, and there's two workers that they're talking. We didn't know what side of the rope to go on, so we just walked. And like, all right, well, they didn't say anything, so we must be in the right line.
It was a walk on anyway, so it didn't
I know.
matter. Yeah.
But they didn't like. It was just weird. Where at Walt Disney, they're on that.
It was like they were
and-
lower staffed there. That's all.
Yeah,
And they were
yeah.
They were making do.
Very laid back.
But poor Anne says, I haven't been to Magic Kingdom since 1972. I've been to some of the other Disney parks in Florida, but I wanted to save Magic Kingdom to do with my grandkids. Now it will never happen. Do your bucket list. So I'm sorry, Anne. Hopefully you'll be able to get there someday.
Yeah.
Charlie and Stacy live in the Florida area,
Yeah.
the Orlando area.
Yep.
So yeah, Anne, we met Anne on a cruise. She's part of the cruising community.
Well, we met her in person, but we were
Yep.
talking to her before then.
And she's a Buffalonian. And
Yep.
we're actually going to meet her when we go see the Bills
Is that
play.
even a word, Buffalonian?
Buffalonian, yes, that's what they call
Sounds
it.
like a sandwich. Kind of
Maybe she can do a Disney cruise where you get it down in Florida and you can spend a day in Magic
There you
Kingdom.
go.
Mm.
Do part and part, yes. We'll wrap things up, but you've done 3 videos so far from your trip.
Yeah.
What can we look forward to for the rest
How
of the
many more you
Thursdays?
got?
Okay, so
72.
so what we were trying to do
Whoa.
is do the videos like by day, you know,
What we're doing.
and a lot of their rides, like a couple of their big rides, are like 12 minutes. So I didn't want it to be like an hour video. So in those videos, I have little snippets of whatever rides we were on.
So it's chronological throughout the day, but
Yeah.
then we're going to have separate videos focusing on each ride
Right,
itself.
specific. I got a point of view, POV, you know.
Oh,
so
cool.
I have one I have 3 that are queued, and one is Phantom Manor, one is the Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it's one of our full days, and then so like I kind of like in those day videos, I kind of put like a little message saying, you know, full ride will be coming. That way, you know, if that's something that you want to see, you can kind of keep an eye out. So I do have tons of videos. I already have 3 queued up that'll be released this week.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
I
And
don't
then-
remember the Pirates ride very much, so that'd be cool to see it.
It was definitely cool. They're definitely
Long,
longer. They're longer than
long.
our ride, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That and
Did
the
you-
Haunted Mansion were both longer than ours.
Yeah, I love
Did
the
you go
Haunted Mansion.
inside the skull there and then also into Swiss Family Robinson, climb the tree there?
We
Yeah.
climbed the tree. I'll have a video of that. The skull,
Those are the subterranean tunnels, right? The one that's kind of like in that area. Is what you're talking about?
Well, the
Like
pirate skull.
the Pirate Cove area was kind of closed.
The ship was being renovated, yeah.
Yeah,
so we
that
weren't able
whole
to
area
couldn't
was
go on the
kinda-
pirate ship.
Was kind of closed.
That's kinda- Bummed about that, but we did do Swiss Family Robinson. A
Yeah.
little bit different. It's not. It's. I don't consider that being a treehouse. They had too many different platforms that were weird. It didn't look like a treehouse like the one in Florida is an actual treehouse. You know, you're going up into the treehouse.
You're
But
like,
this
there's
one-
no way that could fit in a tree.
This one was more like platforms, and it was more like it was just.
They cheated.
Oh, last question. Did you do the railroad?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
We did the railroad.
Yeah.
That has weird benches. They have like
U-shape.
three benches that are facing one side of the train.
Yeah, it's U-shaped.
It's not like
seating.
they're not all facing forward, not facing backwards. You have like one that's facing forward, but it goes around the corner. So it's like one of those couches that does the three different
The
things,
sectionals,
sectional couch. So it's like that's their car. It's all facing
And
one
they
side.
seat you, so we weren't able to pick where to seat for best filming. I didn't like that.
So if you're lucky enough to be seated in the first ones in the car, they always take the seat right next to the door facing forward
Yeah.
because that's the best seat.
Right.
So
We-
a couple before us got that, so we had to sit on the other side.
I do have
But
a
then-
video of it, but again, yeah, we didn't have the best seating.
Just weird seating, yeah. And half of it is windowed, and half of it is open.
And the conductor talked a lot.
Thought it was funny. We had a conductor that was singing and stuff.
And
It was-
he was saying it in French, he said it in English, and at the end he's saying that
was singing songs and stuff,
MICKEY.
He was doing some funny things.
And he did that in French, which is pretty good. And like ours, the conductor doesn't talk at all. It's that recording, the fake conductor.
Yeah, pretty much.
This was the actual conductor talking. It was an actual person. So I like that. It made it a little bit more personal, like, a little special.
It was cute.
Yeah. I do like our cars better because you're all sitting for
Our
it.
train,
and
yeah. I like our
you
train
can pick.
set up better, yeah.
Yeah. But there'll be a
Awesome.
video coming of that too.
Well, you
Lots
guys,
to look forward to.
we've been talking for almost an hour and a half, so we should have
Oh,
probably
boy.
end it. But thank
Thank
you
you
so much
again.
for coming on.
Yes.
I love you guys.
It's been a lot
And,
of fun.
We'll talk a little bit after this show, but definitely planning on meeting you guys when we go to Orlando.
Yep.
Mike and
Yes.
Reba get in after we see the Buffalo Bills beat the New England Patriots on Sunday Night Football on October 5th. Okay, here we go.
But
Yeah,
thank
well,
you,
thanks for having us. We always love being all you guys as well, and
Yeah.
always
Thank
fun.
you. Yeah, we love you guys. It's awesome having you on here and hearing about your adventure. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight.
Yeah,
And-
thank you.
Did you want to say your ending of your show that you always do?
Don't forget to do your duty.
It's a big duty.
And ours is I'm Gregory.
I'm Derek. If you forgot any names, it's okay.
I'm Big Explorer.
And I'm Little Explorer. And as Walt Disney once said,
We are just getting started.
have a great night, everyone.
Dilly dilly.
Gary of the Beaches
Yes.
kick off our
Our ending.
stream.